Hey y'all. So I just want to give a little message about obedience being better than sacrifice. And it's in reference to 1 Samuel 15 when God sent Samuel to anoint Saul as king. And he told him, hearken to the words of the Lord. And he sent him to smite the Amalek. Okay, let me get that right. I don't even know if I said it right, but anyways, he sent him to basically destroy all the Amalekites. He wanted him to destroy he told him the women, the men, both men and women, the infants, the suckling, the oxen, the sheep, everything, right? He told him to destroy everything, the camel and the ass. So when Saul went to destroy, he didn't do exactly what God said. When you are obeying the word of God and commandments of God, you need to do it exactly what He say and exactly how He say to do it. Okay. So this is something obedience been something that God been dealing with me with, just being obedient and like not procrastinating when He says do something, just doing it exactly the way that he gave it to me to do. And I'm sure other people are dealing with it, so I'm sharing it with y'all. But he told him, he said, go smite everything, everybody, women, men, infants, everything, right? And Saul went to go destroy the Amalekites, but instead of Saul doing what God told him to do, what Samuel had told him that God told him to do, he went and he spared Agag, that was the king, and he also spared the best of the sheep and the oxen and, the lambs and everything that he considered was good, right? He would not utterly destroy them. So when he came back, when it was over, God told Samuel, I regret setting him up as the king of Israel. I regret setting Saul up. Imagine God regretting putting you in position or regretting to give you a position on your job, because we all, when we on, even on our jobs, we working for God, and God regretting giving you a position because you didn't do what He sent you to do. So He told him, for He turned His back on me. He's turned His back on me from following me, and He had not performed my commandments. So it grieved Samuel that that's what Saul did. And when Samuel saw Saul, he told him, he said, Saul said to Samuel, bless, I bless, I bless thou the Lord, and I have performed the commandments of the Lord. And Saul was like, well, what is the sheep that I'm hearing? And what about the lowing of the oxen that I'm hearing? And Saul, just like humans, he want to blame it on the people. But you the leader. He was like, but on the he want to blame it on the people, saying the people brought from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best to sacrifice. And then he said to sacrifice to the Lord thy God, and the rest we utterly destroyed. So he was saying that the people, they brought the best of the sheep and the best of the oxen, everything that they basically spared. And he said that it was going to be a sacrifice to God. Now, personally, when people go to pointing fingers, like they looking for an excuse, they're looking for an excuse. Who's to say that it was supposed to be a sacrifice? That when I was reading the story, it didn't say that he saved them to be a sacrifice unto God. It just said that He chose the best. People always want to be sneaky and do stuff their way. Like He's kept the best of the best, but it didn't say, oh, He chose them to be a sacrifice unto God. But that was Saul's excuse at the time when he got called out on his stuff. When he got called out, just like we do every day when we called out on our stuff. Oh, it was the people. It was the people that said that. So anyway, Samuel said to him, stay and I'll tell you what the Lord said to me on this light. And Saul was like, go ahead, tell me. Tell me. And he said, then he anointed you as king over Israel. Didn't God tell you to destroy the sinners of the Amalekites until they be consumed, until it was nothing left? He said, well, did you not obey the voice of the Lord? And in the sight of God, you did evil, basically. You didn't obey the voice of the Lord, and you did evil in the sight of God. That means that you did something evil. And he said, yes, I did obey. I bought Agag, the king of the Amalekites, and I utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people, again, he want to say, but the people took of the spoil, the sheep, the oxen, and the chief things that should have been utterly destroyed to sacrifice unto the Lord God. Now, when you a leader and you in a position, you can't point fingers. You are at the end of the day, and I always tell people this all the time, because I'm a customer service stickler and a management. I really in management. I work in management most of the time, most of my life. So, and in management, you can't be the head and you want to try to blame everybody else. No, when you're a manager, they're looking at you. When you're the business owner, they're looking at you. When you're the ruler over something, they're looking at you. They're not looking at the little people that's up under you, even though they're working up under you. You have to make sure, that's why you're the leader. You have to make sure that all of that is working for the ultimate goal, is working together for the ultimate goal. Like, you can't just sit up there and start pointing fingers over, well, this didn't go there. No, you have to go ahead and take up ownership. You have to take up accountability for the things that you're in charge of. You have to be able to take accountability for those things. You can't just be like, oh, but the people, well, you were told to do something. You were told you was the king over Israel. So if you being the king, and you as the king, I'm telling you to go and destroy something, if it doesn't happen, guess what? You disobeyed me. Who Regardless of who, you were supposed to make sure I left you in charge. So you were supposed to make sure it happened, regardless of who you had to go through to get it done. You just need to get it done. God looking for people that's gonna get his job done. Okay, he's looking for the one that's gonna get his job done. So it don't matter about the people in the middle, or you can't go pointing fingers. So Saul was begging for forgiveness. And he said, forgive me, for I feared the people, and I disobeyed, and I obeyed their voice. He want to take accountability. I obeyed the people, and I obeyed their voice. I feared the people, and I listened to their voice. And Saul wanted Samuel to bring him back, to stand up for him, basically, to bring him back to God. And Samuel was like, no, I will not return with you. You rejected the word of the Lord, and the Lord have rejected you from being the king of Israel. God has taken your position, basically, and given it to somebody that's better than you. That's you can go read 1 Samuel 15, but that's basically what he said. He said, God has taken, let me see if I could find it. Let me see. But anyway, I can't quickly find it right now, but y'all can go read. It's in First Samuel chapter 15. But he told him, like, no, now God taking your position, he's giving it to somebody that's better than you. Because somebody that would obey, basically. Somebody that's gonna get the job done. Somebody that's gonna get the job done. And he said, so Saul repented before Israel, and he pulled on Samuel's robe until it tore. Then Samuel basically, he went on ahead and killed Agag. He slayed Agag in front of the Lord. And Samuel was still mourning for Saul. And God said, how long will you mourn for him? seeing that he have rejected me and he didn't obey me. How long will you mourn for him? And then God gave the position. The position was given over to David. Made David the king. He told him, go find, I believe it was Jesse was his father. Go find one of his sons. He said, I'm gonna make him king. So he made David the king. So if you don't obey God exactly with what he's telling you, exactly how he wants you to do something, he'll find somebody, put somebody else in a position to get the job done. Somebody that he considers better than you, because you didn't do the job the way I asked you to do it. You didn't get it done the way I asked you to get it done. So I have to go and show somebody else. I'm gonna do a follow-up on this about a little later. I'll share that later. But you know what? I just wanted to use this. One day I was sitting in the church. And before I was sitting in church, it was coming to me because I'm a part of the praise and worship team. So it kept coming to me to sing this song. When I read this reminds me of when God was trying to deal with me before about obedience, about me hearing the spirit, hearing from God, and immediately obeying. The song kept coming to me. I won't complain. So it kept coming to me to sing that in church, sing it during a part of the praise and worship. I kept on, I don't know, but anyway, this keyboard, because we don't have a constant piano player, but at my church right now. But this guy, he came in and he was filling in for playing the keyboard for us at the time. Now he came in from basically out of nowhere and just started helping us with the music. And like I said, Sunday, like two or three Sundays went by, and this song kept coming to me. It was like singing this song, but because of fear, because I was nervous or whatever, I didn't really know all the words of the song. I didn't take the time. Instead of me taking the time to go ahead and learn the words of the song, I just kept putting it off, kept procrastinating. And this guy, he got up and he sung that song, and I just chuckled to myself because I'm like, nobody didn't get hurt out of that, or no, it wasn't nothing big came of that. But I just, at that moment, I felt like God was letting me know, like, listen, if you don't obey me, I will use somebody else. It's not about you. So if you don't obey me to get it's about my kingdom building. So if you don't get the job done, I will use somebody else. And from that moment, like that stuck with me. That really stuck with me, because I'm like, you know what? God just showed me. He just showed me that I will use somebody else. You keep sitting here not listening to the spirit when I'm telling you to do something. I will use somebody else. So it wasn't like, oh, I lost a position or anything, but that was just an example for my life for anything else. That was just a small example that he showed me. He showed me, like, if you don't do what I tell you to do, I will use somebody else. I'm going to get it done. I'm going to get it done regardless. And if you can't do it, I'll get somebody else to do it. So, excuse me, y'all. So we have to be obedient. Obedience is better than sacrifice. I'm going to read the scripture. When Samuel was telling Saul, basically, when Saul was like, oh, excuse me, I know I don't have the corona. But anyway, excuse me, I had to get my throat together. But when Saul was like, oh, they're going to sacrifice, they're going to use it as a sacrifice, Samuel had to say, hath the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Basically, so instead of you obeying, you worrying about sacrifice. Like, that's going to mean something. He said, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as an iniquity in idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he hath also rejected thee from being king. Listen, that is scary. That is, to me, that's scary. Saying like when you rebel, it's like the sin is like doing witchcraft, and you really doing it on yourself. Like you're the only person that's gonna get the punishment for it. So it's a behold, that's First Samuel chapter 15 verses 22 and 23. But this is the one that stuck out the most. It say, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken unto the fat of rams. For rebellion is as sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he has also rejected thee of being king. I just feel like that scripture is so powerful, like, and it's scary all in itself. So when we rebel against what God is telling us to do, when we rebel against that little voice that's saying, you know what, you should do this, or you should do it this way, or, you know, the spirit, when your spirit is telling you to do something, when we rebel against that, it's like we're doing witchcraft. That is scary. But anyway, obey the spirit, your spirit, obey the spirit of the Lord, obey, learn how to hear and know what God is saying to you. Pray, ask God to give you clarity, and ask God to, you know, when I was praying before I actually knew, like what I'm saying, around that time when I was asking him to, when he showed me that example in the church, I'm like, let me see how I'm hearing, make sure, because you know sometimes you get stuff and you be like, oh well, was that me or was that God? You can always ask God for clarity. Like I told God, I say, give it to me like an elementary student, and that's what he did. He showed me that example. He showed me that example in the church about the praise and worship. That song kept coming to me, and I just kept ignoring it. And then, hey, he used somebody else to get the song across, because there was a message in that song that he needed that particular people to hear. So even if you have to say, Lord, I don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand. I don't know if I hear your voice, but allow me to know when I'm hearing from you. Show me a sign that when I'm hearing from you, you know, and God will always, the things that God gonna tell you, of course, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be for the building of the kingdom. It's not gonna be nothing crazy and wild. I mean, well, you know, he told him to go slay everybody, but it was for the building of the kingdom. Again, it was because they had disobeyed. So you just don't know. When you hear the voice, you need to listen to it. That's the message here today. Obey. Obedience is better than sacrifice, and when you rebel, it's like witchcraft, sin of witchcraft. Talk to y'all later.